Welcome to Silver Linings Talk Show, and today we are so excited to have Rachel Strabley. She is a certified consulting hypnotist, and we just want to know, hypnotist.
Yeah.
That's such a full thing. A lot of people don't know what it is, so tell us a little bit about how you got into this.
So I used hypnosis, 12 or so years ago to help me with sleep when my children were very young. And then more recently, I used it to get out of a depressive state. And it worked so fast that I then decided to become a hypnotist and share it with others.
Very cool.
Well, what are the reasons that people would come to you? What are some of the common reasons?
So I get a lot of female entrepreneurs, which is so much fun because I can watch them grow as a person as well as watch their business grow. And an entrepreneur that I worked with recently grew her business income by 350%. So within a year of working with me. So those are the ones that I get a lot of, is the female entrepreneurs. But weight release is a common one. Also confidence, stress release. So basically, if there's a challenge, there's a hypnosis that I can create to help with it.
So it sounds like you try to do things on a individual basis, a need, tailoring your work to what someone is coming in to see you for. And those might be some of the most common reasons. Certainly when we first talked, my only experience with a hypnotist, and maybe this is, what some people think about, so I wanted to talk about this, was when I was in high school, like our grad party, right? Or after our grad party, and we had a hypnotist. And people got on stage and did all this wacky stuff.
Yes.
That I'm sure they did not know what they were doing. And that was like my only experience with hypnosis. So, I think that sometimes people think of hypnosis as, oh my goodness, is somebody going to make me do something that I don't know what I'm doing? So I want to talk about what are some of maybe the differences between what you do, and you call this like a stage hypnosis.
Yeah, so a stage hypnotist has very different training to the training that I had. Mm-hmm. So when you're getting up on stage with a stage hypnotist, you're giving them permission to make you do silly things. And as the hypnotist goes along and they tap people on the shoulder, and they start off with 20, 25 people, and as they're going along, they'll tap people on the shoulder and tell them to go sit down.
Yeah.
Because
I remember that.
Yes, because their subconscious mind is no longer giving the permission to do the silly things, and then they're left with about 10 people who are still deep in the trance. And you've given the hypnotist, like I said, permission to ask you to do those things, and that's why you do them.
Okay.
I work with health, wealth, and happiness. So I don't make you do silly things when you're in hypnosis with me.
I think we didn't delve a little bit deeper into our true first question. You said, a little bit about your journey and interest to become a hypnotist, but I think we need to touch on that a little bit more so we can really differentiate
between the
stage and exactly what you do.
Yes.
Because I came to you.
Yes.
And I had a session, and I will give my testimonial, but I do want you to tell us a little bit more in depth of your journey, because I think that will help people understand a little bit more of the difference between the stage versus your certified consulting hypnosis business.
So, yes, I'm certified, and the training I took was 8 days of training. In between the 8 days, after 4 days, we did case studies to work through, and then we went back to finish off the training. But I'm also trained in conversational hypnosis, and there's also a walking hypnosis, And I do an emotional detox, which allows you to release guilt, shame, fear, pain, anger, pressure, and frustration from, the moment you were born up until today. So there's lots of different types of hypnosis. Stage hypnosis is one of them. And then I'm trained in a multitude of modalities to work with my clients. And that's how I'm able to customize them for each individual coming in.
Because I wanted to differentiate, like I came to you going, I had heard some testimonials from people who just said, okay, she helped me. Okay, well, what does that mean? And I was finding that I had heightened aggression driving around, things like that, where things were bothering me. And I said, Rachel, is this something you can help me with? And she had said to me, well, normally I might need 3 sessions, but because you have an awareness about what you are experiencing, I think we can take you through a session and see where you end up and see if that helps you first. And it really did help me become very aware of when I was triggered. And I think that in and of itself does explain a little bit about what and how you get through to people during your session.
Right, so we're rewiring your brainwaves, basically, into thinking differently or taking on a different perspective of what you're experiencing. And so with you, we worked on responding rather than reacting to the drivers in front of you.
And I think that right there can help in some people's perspective. Right, Diane? Remember we had our conversation?
I don't remember, what are you referring to?
When we were having our conversation and you had a very different experience with hypnosis as well.
Yes.
And I had shared my experience, and I think it opened your eyes as to, oh, well, gee, the pathways and the specifics of how it can be beneficial rather than what Dina had said about a stage and making people do things that are a little silly and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes. It totally opened my eyes. I was in an experience where we were playing instruments, and I was playing the violin and actually had hardly any memory of it. It was very interesting hypnosis. But I like that what Rachel's doing is using it for like a real positive way to change our lives.
Yes.
So one of the things that we also wanted to explore with you today are what are some of the myths of hypnosis? And I kind of presented one already, was, oh my goodness, am I gonna be like clucking like a chicken or doing something silly that I don't know what I'm doing?
Right.
So what are some of the myths of hypnosis that you know of and have heard?
So one of the big ones is people think it's mind control, but actually it's giving you the power to control your own mind. So if I say to you, if you come to me for public speaking, for example, and I say you'll never eat chocolate cake again, your subconscious mind will say, that's not why I'm here, and reject it. So I can't really tell you to do things that you're not ready to do.
Or not wanting to do, like not even seeking your service for.
Exactly. Otherwise I'd be a millionaire, because I'd say, just write an extra 0 on the end of my check. So it gives you the power to control your own mind, because if you can think a negative thought, you can think a positive one.
What's another myth?
Another myth is that you get stuck in hypnosis. But you can't. If I stop talking, your mind would get bored, your eyes will open. And in fact, you can open your eyes and move at any time, even while you're in hypnosis. You have complete control over your mind and body.
Okay.
Another myth is what you see on the television, on the movies, is that you click your fingers and you go into hypnosis.
Yes.
It can work, but not without your permission. You always have to give permission to go into hypnosis. And All hypnosis is self-hypnosis, because if you want to make the change, you'll listen to the guidance and you'll go into hypnosis of your own choice.
It's willingness. You have to be
Exactly.
open and willing, and
Yes.
and that was the key to my situation, because you're seeking assistance to achieve a result,
Yes.
and that's why it works.
Right. It's not something you'll say, oh, let me give it a try. Because if you're not doing it or wanting to make the change, trying is not going to help. So, some changes can take place with trying, but not the ones that you really want.
So Rachel, can you break it down for us? How does it help with mindfulness?
So, as Lynn was saying, instead of reacting to things, she's now responding. And that's just, it's calmed your mind, it's de-stressed the situation, it's taken on a different perspective.
Can you give me an example? Give me an example of, like, you have a thought, you're driving, you're like, oh my God, that guy just pulled in front of me. So,
Well, if
Give
you've
me
had
an-
if you've had hypnosis for that reason, then you're just not going to feel that way anymore. The guy will pull
you're
in front
just in a
of you.
different mind zone altogether.
Exactly. The guy will pull in front of you, and you'll just be like, oh well, I guess I needed
He's
to.
on his way to take his
slow
wife to go
down.
have a baby at the hospital. Yay!
No.
It kind of, I have my moments where I might still in my head go, have my words, but I also remind myself, I'm like, yeah, let them, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I can't control it, and it's not going to bother me.
Right.
And
so you change
so it
your
takes me
thinking.
back, and it's just this constant reminder that, wait a minute, no, I'm not going to let it bother me. And
But if we'd had more sessions, you wouldn't even.
right,
It
so we
wouldn't
may
even-
have to do that.
Yeah.
But it definitely, I think it's a matter of repetition too sometimes. Like, in order to create new neural pathways, you can't just go, okay, there it is, just like hypnosis. It's not a snap thing. It's a gradual in, right? I mean,
Yes, and it also, after your hypnosis session, it continues to grow. So whatever you've been working on will just keep growing over time. The more patient you are, the more patient you become.
well, and that's what the connection to the neural pathways is, right? It's the growth,
Yes,
and it's the repetition.
yes.
So what is your recommendation normally to a client? Like, how many sessions is the norm? And yeah,
What does it typically look like?
yeah.
So it all depends
Yeah, sure.
on the challenge that you're bringing to me. So if it's public speaking, for example, usually 3 sessions. We build your confidence. You go out into the field and practice, and then whatever you're feeling in your body or in your mind or what you're telling yourself, we then work on that in the next 2 sessions. So with weight release, it's going to be 9, 12, more, depending on the person, what the challenges are.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And if we took just, for example, the one about getting up and doing public speaking and kind of having that 3 session, what's kind of the time frame that might happen? Like, does that happen 3 sessions in a month? Is that 1 a month? What does that kind of look like?
So I like to get my clients where they want to be as fast as possible. So it's usually 1 session a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody could be ready to go in 3 weeks to stand up in front of everybody and just like blow that,
exactly.
that presentation right out of the water.
Usually after 1 session for public speaking, they are able to get up and talk in front of people.
And
But they
even
still
with a lot-
have-
if someone comes to you and they had a lot of anxiety, they're able to do that in 1 session.
Yes.
That's
They
amazing.
still have maybe some body things going on or thought patterns in their mind, but they are able to step in front of an audience.
Yeah, they gotta
After
break-
3 sessions.
They got to break
no
through the
problems.
ums and the ahs, right?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I love
It can happen really fast, which is the fun of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
One thing that's also fun, speaking of fun,
Right.
is you brought a deck of cards that you created. And I think we just have a visual picture of the cards so people can see them at home because they probably can't see them from here. But you brought us a deck of your cards. So first I want to just ask you like how you came about kind of creating cards and the messages on the cards.
So usually I give my clients affirmations to use in a self-hypnosis technique. And a self-hypnosis technique is you simply count down from 10 to 1 with your eyes closed, and in between the number you repeat the affirmation. And you do this multiple times and you're going to be changing the neural pathways in your brain.
Okay.
So I decided to create my own cards because the affirmations that I give to my clients come from my intuition, or sometimes they come from Louise Hay. But these are all my own doing. And if you shuffle them and have a thought in mind, these cards, they have messages about sleep, about your health, confidence, different messages. And usually I find, because I do this myself every day, is that the message that I get is exactly the one I need in that moment. So go ahead, shuffle, choose a card.
Diane, you shuffling?
I'm shuffling.
All right, Diane.
Right.
Diane, I want to.
You
Why
pick
don't we go
first.
to you, and
Okay.
you do it first? I want to see what
Okay,
you
do I
get.
have to tell everybody the question, or is that my private thing?
It's your affirmation.
Oh.
Yep.
Just your affirmation.
Yep, pick it out.
Just pick up
If
my
they
information?
fall out,
Okay.
that's the one you...
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I got it. Get my glasses on.
I'll be
My
curious to see if any of us match.
Uh-huh.
affirmations.
All right, tell us what you got.
I find satisfaction in making conscious choices that align with my health goals.
Nice.
That matches pretty well with you. Awesome. Well, mine is every challenge I face is an opportunity for growth and learning.
Nice.
I love that
That's
one.
perfect for you, Lynn.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And mine says, I am confident and assertive in expressing my needs and desires. I am worthy of my needs and desires.
Love that for you.
Yes. And just so, you know, with the experience that I just had with the cards, and it was so true, is as I'm shuffling, one just kind of fell out. So
Yes.
that became my card. How did you choose yours?
I just cut the deck.
Okay.
And picked the top one.
Yeah.
And you can really do it anyway.
Diane, how did you get your card?
Yep, I just shuffled and just broke it to the middle.
That's
and then
what I
So
did.
you did the same.
I did it the same way, and I think, so your recommendation is kind of to do count from 10, so you do 10 and then you would repeat this, and then you do 9 and then you'd repeat this. So I think we should do this exercise, ladies, for the next, what do you do it for, a day?
I do it every day.
Every day?
The same affirmation every day, and definitely before you fall asleep. So the hypnotic trance is actually that moment right when you're awake before you're falling asleep.
Okay.
So it's really important at nighttime to say nice things to yourself.
Yes. You also talked about what to avoid right before you go to sleep.
Yes, don't listen to the news. Don't read the news, don't listen to the news. Just tell yourself nice thoughts, because that is when your brain is at its most suggestible state. And that's the state of hypnosis
I've
as well.
always tried that
I,
in the
I
morning.
do love, I practice that. I love doing that.
You're always so good at that, and I'm good at that in the morning, but I guess I fall off at night. So this is a great reminder. Thank you for this deck of cards, because I can have these by my bed, and I will do it in the evening, and then I'll do it again in the morning.
Okay, yeah.
Rachel, sometimes I'll do like the affirmation, but I like your cards because this gives me, you know, some new things to think about. And then sometimes I'll ask my subconscious mind to solve a problem for me,
love
while
that.
I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
And then when I wake up in the morning, I'm amazed that I actually have an answer.
It's really cool. The subconscious
I love that,
mind
Diane.
is so
I know.
powerful, and we don't address it enough. It is 95% of your daily actions and thoughts are controlled by your subconscious mind. Whether it's protecting you and stopping you from doing something, which could hold you back as well from
True.
being the person you want to be.
And is that kind of what you're tapping into when we are tapping into hypnosis, the subconscious mind that we often are ignoring?
Yeah, so your subconscious mind is holding on to every emotion that you've ever felt in your lifetime. And
Ooh,
if it's
that's
a
a lot.
negative, if it's
is
a
a lot.
negative emotion, then it's going to protect you from feeling that over again. So if you feel that you're stuck in a habit, in a relationship, or at a stopping point with your career, you want to address your subconscious mind so you can move forward.
You have a little green book there. I'd
I
love
do.
to.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
you wrote a book. I want to hear about your book.
Yes,
Yes.
so I co-wrote the book with Kimberly Ann O'Connor, and she's another consulting hypnotist in Toronto. And it is the Little Green Book for Prosperity. And inside it is different ways of thinking about money. So instead of a budget, you're going to have a spending plan.
Ooh,
So
Look at that gorgeous photo, I just have to say.
Thank you.
it really is.
Because
Yes.
money is energy and it needs to flow. So if you have a budget, it sounds like it's stuck, there's no movement.
Yeah, it seems like a negative
If you have a
word,
spending plan, then you can kind of be more flexible with it.
Oh.
And inside the book is also a morning hypnosis, hypno boost from myself, and then an evening one that Kimberly has recorded. So, this you can get on Amazon. The affirmations you can get on my website.
Awesome. I love that.
And you said, which was nice, is you have these at events and you just sold out.
I did.
Which is exciting.
Yes. So I've done a few events lately. So I sold out of my copies of the book, but they're still available on Amazon.
And I went to one of your events
Yes.
recently, and you did a hypnosis practice
for stress release.
for stress release for an entire group
70
of
people.
business women.
Yes.
And it was so wonderful to hear people's experiences about just what they felt in the moment, or what they visualized, or what they saw. And, for me, I definitely saw, like, one of the things was about the love. Like sharing and spreading the love. And I just had, that glow of red
Yes.
light going around to the people in different tables, and then coming back heart center, which was really beautiful.
That's right. You were at the Valentine's Day one.
Yeah, it was
so
the
we focused
Valentine's
on
one, so we
love.
focused
Yes.
on love and self-love.
The other one I did was stress release. Yeah.
Nice.
I did 2 in 1 week.
Since we're talking about stories, I think we still have time to hear
Yes.
about a success story of yours.
Yeah, so in the beginning I told you about the entrepreneur, and
Yes.
but one of the ones that still gives me goosebumps is a lady I worked with. She'd been struggling with bulimia for 25 years, and we worked on and off together for 6 months, and now she is free of the illness and just loving life. So that story
I
still
like
gives
when
me
you talk
goosebumps.
about the story too, about her past experiences when she tried to share.
So she did share during that 25 years with one doctor who made her feel so shameful that she didn't feel she could share with anybody else again.
And that
Yeah,
is
how-
horrific.
How do you see that she came to you? Here there was shame and guilt and maybe some blame around it.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid, right? How did she come to you?
So she'd heard me speak,
Okay.
and then she reached out just for like a coffee chat, which I'm happy to do.
Okay.
And then she felt like she could trust me with her secret.
Yes.
Really, yeah. Which, like,
Well, it gives me goosebumps.
It gives me
because I have a
goosebumps,
long
yes.
history in that realm, and you know, to have to hear that someone was shamed
Yes.
by a physician is just devastating. So I'm so glad to know that there are practitioners, and I'm going to call you one because it is something, who can help people get through things that are hard to get through.
Yes,
For sure.
definitely.
And how has this impacted her life now?
Well, she can now go on girls' trips that she couldn't go on before because she was hiding something. And she can go to restaurants without worrying where the bathroom is. Just very thing.
And her health.
And her health, absolutely.
There's so many repercussions from that disease that
Yes.
can be
Yes.
very impactful and dangerous.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I'm grateful that she has gotten through that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a wonderful success story.
Thank
So
you.
we need
Rachel,
to-
how does somebody reach you? How do we find you?
I love getting emails, rachel@hypnosiswithrachel.com, very easy. My website, hypnosiswithrachel.com. I'm on Instagram as well, but go to my website, all the information is there.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, this has been amazing to dispel the myths, hear some success stories, and appreciating the fact that we can change our neural pathways and we can get rid of the things that we no longer have serving us in our lives.
Exactly, and it is so fast. I just want to emphasize that.
I can't wait to use my cards. I'm using
Wonderful.
them every night. I can't wait.
Fantastic. Diane, do you want to wrap us up for
I
the
do.
day?
Rachel, it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And like I said, I can't wait to use and practice this. And remember, everybody, to always look at the silver linings.